Now, Formula One racing in the 1970s was very, very dangerous. As Lauda says early in the film, 25 drivers start Formula One each year, and 2 of us die. So in the 70s, as the ads for the film says, it was the time when sex was safe and racing was dangerous. Now, Nikki Lauda is shown as the protagonist or the antagonist because it doesn't make any difference. I mean, they're both going against one another. So you decide, you as the spectator, you decide who you want to follow, who is the one you like. He's shown as a quick mind. He's shown as very intelligent and without emotions. And the film does align itself a little bit with Nikki Lauda for a while, because it shows Hunt as a person with real character problems, as a person who likes to take drugs, as a person who's a womanizer, as a person who's into party and living the life of a rock star. And those types of excesses are not seen as something good by the audience. On the other hand, Lauda is problematized a little bit more because he's shown as too dry and too intellectual and not affectionate at all. But in any case, the antagonism between these two protagonists is between Lauda as an intelligent and dry, straightforward guy, straightforward professional, and Hunt, who is this intoxicated rock star kind of driver. Hunt shows up to run when he's hungover, partying the night before. He makes no secret of his parties and his rock and roll lifestyle at all. But he's shown to have an internal weakness. He gets sick before each race, which means that he's afraid of death. He's afraid of that challenge. It's the only moment in which you actually see the character having any kind of weaknesses. Well, sports films are, according to Robert McKee at least, used a lot to show the character progression, character change, character achieving maturity. And so they focus on the evolution of the character more than anything else. Now, we have a little bit of that in this film, but there is a variation of it. I mean, the characters do not change in the way you would expect. James Hunt, you expect him as this intoxicated driver to mature as a man and become less impulsive and even less competitive. On the other hand, on the other side, you expect Nikki Lauda, who's a very rational man, an objective man, that calculates the possibilities of everything, including his love interests, to become more humane. But these things do not exactly happen. What happens is that they become more mature in the sense that they start respecting each other more at the end of the film. After the battle is finished and Hunt actually wins the races, they both know that they are a part of the same. And so the maturing is not so much in a change of character, but in a change of the way that they see each other, both the protagonists and the antagonists. In terms of structure, the film is shown a lot through voiceover of the characters. I mean, the actions are told, are said. It's all a big of a recollection and a comment made mainly by Nikki Lauda about what's happening. And Lauda knows he doesn't have the beauty and the charm of Hunt, but he's honest and direct and very talented, and that's what makes us as an audience look at him. The different directions both these men had before what they were doing are clear when Hunt says that what he wanted to do was look into the face of death and cheat it. And Lauda actually says clearly that if he was better at something else, he would do that something else. I mean, he's such a straightforward, cynical in a way, and mechanical and disciplined guy that he knows he's really good at looking at engines. He knows he's really good at figuring out motors and driving cars, and there's nothing he's gonna do which is better. So he puts his life on the line just because he knows that's his talent. And that's not what Hunt wants. So they are complete opposites, competing for the same thing, which is the title. The only thing that actually makes Lauda a little bit more human is his relationship with his devoted wife Marlene, played brilliantly by Alexandra Maria Lara. He is shown as someone who loves her, and he knows that he can die on the track, but the fact that he finally loves someone. And there's a very nice scene in Ibiza with both of them, which becomes a very nice set piece. Shows that this man also has got some kind of humanity and makes you as the audience connect to him more. Lauda's wife and Hunt's wife are shown rooting for their men during the scenes of racing. And I think that shows again that the idea is women like men that challenge danger, women like men that risk their lives, put their lives on the line. And in that sense, the film is even a bit predictable and even a bit cliche. There's a very clear division between conflicts. I mean, Hunt is getting married, and then cut. The next sequence is Lauda being hired by Ferrari. There's nothing in between the events. All the action is divided with absolute economy. There's always development of the characters or race. Characters being developed or race. The film is very, very tightly edited and shot. Howard tries to use a lot of camera movements to do this film. So even dialogues, which could be still, could be more conservative with a still camera, even those scenes are taken with move, taken with pans, taken with zooms, taken with all sorts of camera movements. For instance, the scene in which Nikki Lauda is talking with his dad, and his dad is telling him that he doesn't want his son to become a racing driver. That scene, it's shot in a complex way with cameras that go up to the sides. I mean, he's almost showing off. That, to a degree, it detaches you as the spectator from the action and makes you think, whoa, why he's moving the camera so much? You know, like keep it more classical. But I think it goes with the racing. It goes with the idea of speed and the idea of constant movement that the cars have as well. All the sequences are so tight, you know, there's no space for subtlety, no subtlety at all in this film. Everything is as extreme as the races. Therefore, the film is extremely well shot. Cameras tilt, cameras change, cameras move, the colors are beautiful. But the film really does not allow for the sequences to really develop. The emotions change very, very fast. We don't have time to enjoy their honeymoon in Ibiza or to enjoy the wedding of Hunt. The emotions are racing. I wonder if this is a metaphor for racing itself. I mean, the film is a race of emotions that jump from one place to the other without stopping, like a racing car. So this film is a film that's very emotional, more than intellectual. That doesn't mean that the characters are flat, not at all. They have strong characteristics, they have strong personalities, as I have described before. And you know which point they're coming from. You know that these are gonna clash. You know that these point of views are gonna clash. But the film is so well knit and so economical that even the characters and the way that they think and they feel about the world kind of take a back seat a little bit. And this becomes even more clear because there's no backstory there. There's no way for you to know how Hunt and Lauda became who they are. We just see that they are, battling each other all the time, and one of them has got to win. Because the film is so concerned with evoking powerful emotions, the use of music is very good. Both the music made for the film by Howard Shore, a very good composer, as well as the incidental music that plays, which evokes, 70s classics. There's some Thin Lizzy and Steve Winwood, for instance. And all of these scenes are very much flavored by what's happening exactly in them. There's a sequence in Brazil, for instance, which has a golden light, which gives you the impression that this is a very tropical country. So there is a very strong use of color correction to give each sequence a very specific flavor. Another sequence that captures that is the sequence in Ibiza after Lauda gets married. It's beautifully well shot. It looks like a commercial. Perfect music, the use of a lot of close-ups and handheld cameras in the racing bits and so forth. Of course, there's the very powerful and important, and even in real life, sequence of the accident that Niki Lauda suffered. It's a powerful scene with spectacular fire and things blowing up, crashes one after the other, and you're rooting for one of these characters, right? He's burning inside the car. So it's a very powerful, very well edited sequence, and in that sequence the film reaches a screenwriting climax, because you know that from then on Niki Lauda is deformed, and he's losing races as well because he's in the hospital while Hunt is getting points, and that counts for him. So you have a powerfully edited scene with a powerful plot point as well put together, which is both things are very well done. In the end, the difference between Rush and other films of competition, like Frost and Nixon by Howard himself or Rocky, is that in these films we have the representation of two points of view which are clearly put against one another. So these point of views matter a lot. In Rush, who wins the Grand Prix of '76 is James Hunt, but that's not what matters. What matters in the film is that these are two men who are disputing within this fantastic invention, this fantastic and dangerous invention, which are racing cars, and they're putting their lives on the edge before something bigger than themselves and bigger than any man. And it is about the fascination they have with technology, the dangers it brings, and how men want to overcome that and test themselves. So, of course, they're different characters and they have different lives and they are antagonists. But the race, the technology is the big thing. The car is the big challenge. It's like climbing a mountain. It's like climbing the Everest. And these two men are competing for that.